Good day, sir. I'm just going to review with my group mates, and we're going to do a video reporting all about the cardiovascular system. So, what is cardiovascular system? Cardiovascular system is the transport system of the body by which food, oxygen, water, and all other essentials are carried to the tissue cells. Other waste products are carried away. So these are the chapter's objectives. So, the cardiovascular, there are three components of cardiovascular: the blood, the heart, and the blood vessels. First, the blood. The blood is a fluid which materials are carried to and from the tissue. The second one is the heart. The heart is a driving force which propels blood or pumps the blood. And the blood vessels. The blood vessels is the routes which the blood travels through and through the tissues and back to the heart. So, mao ni ang ganyan itong ugat. So, the blood. Blood is classified as connective tissue since nearly half of it is made up of cells. However, it differs from other connective tissues in that its cells are not fixed in position. Instead, they move freely in the liquid portion of the blood, the plasma. So, these are the functions of blood: the transportation, regulation, and the protection. First is the transportation. There are four ways showing or explaining how can the blood use in transportation. First is oxygen. So, oxygen from inhaled air diffuses into the blood through the thin lungs membrane and is carried to the tissue of the body. Carbon dioxide waste product of cells metabolism is carried from the tissues along the lungs where it breathes out. So, ang blood doon is nag-carry siya kuwan na nag-carry siya oxygen para magkuhan sa kawasan. The blood transports food and other needed substance such as minerals, vitamins to the cells. These materials may enter the blood from the digestive system or may be released into the blood from body stores. So, the blood is carried transport foods dili ibig sabihin nga foods ni nga atong gi-count ang kana ning mga vitamins or minerals nga nasa foods na atong gi-count. Next is the blood. The blood transport waste products from cells to the sites from which they are released. The kidney removes excess water, minerals, and urea from protein metabolisms and maintain acid-base balance of the blood. Of the blood. The liver removes bad pigment and drugs. So, the blood carries hormones from their sites of origin to the organ they affect. Next is the regulation. There are three ways showing or explaining how can the blood be used for regulation or to regulate. First is the buffer. Buffer in the blood helps keep the pH of the body fluid about 7.4. The blood serves to regulate the amount of that fluid in the tissues by which of substance, mainly proteins that maintain the proper osmotic pressure. Next is the blood transport heat. The blood transport heat that generates from muscles to other parts of the body, those aiding in the regulation of body temperature by the blood. Those aiding in the regulation of the body temperature. So, blood is kono is nag-transport sa heat para ma-maintain atong angin sa atong lawas para dili mag Next is protection. In relation, the blood carries the cells that are among the body's defender against pathogens. It also contains substances such as antibodies that are concerned with immunity to disease. So, ang blood ko is pwede siya makuhan usa siya sa main reason nga makaiwas sa kuhan sa mga disease. And the blood contains factor of proteins against blood loss. So, next is compositions of the blood. The blood is composed of two prime elements, As already mentioned, the liquid elements is called plasma. The cells and fragment of cells are called form elements or particles. The form elements are classified as follows. The erythrocytes from erythro meaning red. The red blood cells which transport oxygen. And the leukocytes from leuco meaning white are several kinds of blood cells which protect against infection. And the platelets, also called chromocytes, are cells fragment that participate in blood clotting. So ang platelets ang yun ang responsible sa pagkuhan sa itong samad pag-ayos. So blood plasma. Over half of the total volume of blood is plasma. The plasma itself is 90% water, and many different substances dissolved or suspended in the water make up the other 10%. The plasma contains various somewhat substance carried by the blood and the organs get used and added to. However, the body tends to maintain fairly constant level of this substance. For example, the level of glucose and a simple amount of sugar. So these are the plasma protein major types. So albumin is 7% major component of the mistake pressure of the plasma. And globulins, the 35%, antibodies, immunoglobulin, and transport proteins. Functions in blood clotting is fibrinogen, 4%, and other the various roles of antitrypsin, coagulation factors, etc. is 1%. So mga yung plasma nutrients, three organic nutrients contain glucose, lipids, fats, phospholipids, and etc. The form elements of fat, as I said kanina, is and this red blood cells is money ang mag-carry sa atong oxygen. And white blood cells is money ang mag-protect sa atong samad nga makaiwas og infection. And blood clotting, blood clotting. Blood clotting. So, in blood clotting, or coagulation is protective device that prevents blood loss when blood vessels is fractured by an injury. The many substances necessary for blood clotting are normally inactive in the bloodstream. The blood clotting process consists of the following essential steps. First is the injured tissues release thromboplastin, the substance that triggers the blood clotting mechanism. Thromboplastin react with certain protein factors and calcium ions to form prothrombin activators, which turn react with calcium ions to convert the prothrombin to thrombin. The thrombin in turn converts soluble fibrinogen into soluble fibrin. Fibrin forms a network of threads that interrupts red blood cells and platelets to form hub. So, in blood groups, these are the blood groups. Blood groups and their one, where we can find their antigens and the red blood cells. And as a donor, o asa ka pwede mag-donate or asa ka pwede magpangit, if mag-need ka kuhan blood, para kang mita o kuhan donor. So A, blood group A is a contain siya o antigen A and mix A and anti-B, antibodies B. Ang blood group A is compatible siya sa A and A, blood group na A and AB, and incompatible siya with B and O because both make antibodies that will react with A antigens. So, if ikaw naman ang nanginala yung donor, so ang need mo nga compatible is yung blood is compatible siya sa A and O. Naripot sa B is Nasa antigen B and mix it antibodies A. And combinable with B and AB as a donor and combinable with BO is the recipient. And AB is AB is the combination of antigen A and B and mix neither anti-A nor anti-B. And as a donor is combinable siya with AB only. Sa AB lang siya nakuha sa A and B. And as a recipient, combinable siya with all universal groups. Pwede siya sa AB, A, B, and O nga blood groups. And sa O naman is neither A nor B antigen and makes it both anti-A and anti-B bodies. And as a donor is available siya with group or universal donor. So pwede siya as a donor, pwede ka maka-donate sa blood nga A, B, and AB. And available with only O as a recipient. The RH factor. RH factor is another red cells antigen that determines the blood group. Those individuals who possess the antigen in their red cell surface are said to be RH positive. Those who lack this antigen are said to be RH negative. If RH positive blood is given to an RH negative person, he or she may become sensitized to the person in the RH positive blood. The synthesized person's blood cells may then produce antibodies to the foreign RH antigens and destroy the transfused red blood cells. Yeah. And mao ni ang blood group system. The heart. Next is the heart. The heart is a muscular pump that drives the blood through the blood vessels. It's slightly bigger than this, so mas takot-takot siya gamay sa ato heart. And the importance of the heart has been recognized as more than a century, though Mesia is more than a century pa. The fact that its rate of beating is affected by emotion, so ang pag-heart, ato pang heartbeat is na-apektuhan na siya sa atong emotion. If makulbaan ta mo, paspas atong heartbeat. However, the vital functions of the heart and disorder are more practical importance to us. Structures of heart. The first is endocardium. Endocardium is very thin smooth layer of cells that resembles squamous epithelium, membranes, lines, interior of the heart. So not siya sa suot mo sa heart, tinigiri. Next is the myocardium. The muscles of the heart is thickest here sa mga red mga part. And lastly, the epicardium. The thin outermost layer of the heart wall and is continuous with the surface lining of the fibrous sac that encloses the heart. So kiningari. And mga to guys,
Good morning. This is the continuation report of the cardiovascular system of Kenneth Romeo Panilag, sir. There are 4 chambers of heart, and the heart is divided into 2 chambers, which is the upper chambers and the lower chambers. The right atrium. Let's start from the right atrium. The right atrium is one of the 4 chambers of heart. Receives the blood in low oxygen from the body and then empties the blood through the right ventricle. So from here, moari ang blood to the right atrium, and then i-push ni right atrium ang blood to the right ventricle, which is the right ventricle is the responsible for accepting the venous blood and propelling it to the lungs, where it is oxygenated and CO2 eliminated. So from the right ventricle, ang blood nasad mo travel nasad through the lungs. And then, from the lungs, dito na, CO2 eliminated and oxygenated na ang blood. And then, from the lungs, There we go. The blood goes to the left atrium. Left atrium is one of the four chambers of the heart. Receives a blood full of oxygen from the lungs, then empties the blood through the left ventricle. And then, if maabot na ang blood to the left ventricle is an integral part of the cardiovascular system. Contraction forces oxygenated blood through the aortic valve, distributed to the entire body. And then, this is the circulation of blood through the heart. So, the blood enters the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Ako i-zoom ah. So, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Then, the right atrium. Padung sa right atrium. If the right atrium is full of blood, the tricuspid valve is automatically closed to avoid leaking of the blood. And then, the blood goes to the right ventricle, which is the right ventricle. If mapuno na siya, mo close na sad si tricuspid valve para avoid leaking. And then, from the right ventricle, ang blood goes to the pulmonary artery, which is the color violet to the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary valve is kani to avoid leaking. And then to the pulmonary artery to the lungs. From the lungs, which is the blood is CO2 eliminated and blood is oxygenated. So from the lungs, the blood entered the pulmonary veins to the right atrium, which is the left atrium, which is the blue. At mapuno na si left atrium, mo automatically close si mitral valve to avoid leak. And then, blood travel to the left ventricle. At mapuno na si left ventricle, mo automatically close si mitral valve ug si aortic valve to avoid leaking. And then, i-contract ni left ventricle ang blood through the aorta to the rest of the body. This is the conduction system of the heart. One, or the SE node or the sinus nodes. Sinus nodes represent a cluster of mucocytes with pacemaker activity. This is where they start the electrical impulses or the signs. And then through the AV bundle or the ventricular bundle, which is if mo abot si ang sign diya, moagi siya sa internodal pathways. Internodal pathways are the connecting pathways that form a direct connection between the sinoatrial node and the atrioventricular node. The atrioventricular node or the AV node is a small structure in the heart located in the small couch near the coronary sinus on the integral septum. And then, the bundle of His or the AV bundle. AV bundle is the continuation of specialized tissues of the AV node and serves to transmit the electrical impulses from the AV node to the Purkinje fibers. Before mo abot sa Purkinje fibers ang mga electrical impulses, mo split sa into two, which is the right bundle branch and the left bundle branch. The left bundle branch conducts the impulses to the left ventricle and the right bundle branch conducts impulses to the right ventricle. And then the Purkinje fibers. Purkinje fibers plays a major role in the electrical conductions and the propagations of the impulses of the ventricular muscles. And then this is the last. The cardiac cycle. So the blood enters the right atrium. Venous blood return to the right atrium, which is the venous is represent a blood to the right atrium. And then if mapuno si right atrium, mo push na sad ang blood through the left ventricle. Venous blood flow arrive in the right ventricle. If mapuno na sad, mo travel na sad ang blood through the pulmonary veins, mo gawas kani to the lungs. Then venous blood is sent to the lungs in the via pulmonary artery. And then from the lungs, diha na i-eliminate ang carbon dioxide and then ma-oxygenated na ang blood. After oxygenated in the lungs, the blood or the red blood returns to the left atrium, which is oxygenated na. And then, mo-travel na sa ang blood through the left ventricle. Red blood arrives in the left ventricle. Ipapuno, ikundya na magsugod og pump sa left ventricle through the other part of the body, or the red blood is sent in the arteries to the tissues or the rest of the body. Thank you.
Heart sound and murmurs. The normal heart sound are usually described by the syllable lub and dub. The lub is caused by the closing of the AV leading to the ventricles. AV stands for arterioventricular valve. Makita na sa illustration sa picture asa ang AV. Ang AV mo na siya ang kanang mo na siya og agianan nga mo-open og mo-close pag mo pump ang blood. Ang iyang sound is soft, prolonged with low pitch, while ang dub is caused by the closing of semilunar valve leading out of the heart. So sa dub, makita po nimo diri sa illustration sa picture kung asa ang dub dapit. Iyang sound is sharp, short with high pitch. Murmur also occurs kung dili mag-close tightly ang mga valve kay mo occur ang iyang sound kay tungod dili matarong og flow ang blood kay mulik man pabalik sa gigikanan kay di man tarong og close ang mga valve. Some abnormal sound called murmur are usually due to faulty action of the valve. So mo na to. Blood vessels. So the blood vessels, together with the fourth chamber of heart, form a closed system of the flow of blood. So naay the left atrium and right atrium, upper chamber, and the left ventricle and right ventricle, low chamber. So ang right side dahil sa atong heart mo na siyang nag-collect of blood sa pagbalik niya gikan sa rest sa atong body. The blood enter the right side of our heart is low in oxygen. Magpump ni siya og blood para sa atong lungs para pod maka-receive og oxygen ang ato ang lungs. While ang left side also, once makadawat na og oxygen ang lungs, the blood return directly to the left side of your heart, which then pump it out indulong sa tanang part sa atong heart through the artery called aorta. So makita po dira sa illustration sa heart chamber. Ang color red mo na siya ang left ventricle ug ang color murag violet na nay pagka-blue is the right atrium and right ventricle. On the basis of function, blood vessels may be classified into three groups. There are arteries, veins, and capillaries. So the arteries, blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart to the other part of the body. May mas thicker ni siya kaysa sa veins kay tungod ang high blood pressure nga nagikan jud sa heart is sa iya man first moagi. So napod sa illustration makita baga siya kaysa sa veins o sa capillary. Veins, blood vessels that carry blood from the body balik sa heart. So kung ang arteries kay gikan sa heart padulong sa part sa body, ang veins naman kay gikan sa part sa body padulong sa heart. Ang capillary is a tiny tube that carried blood from the arteries to the body cells and then back to the veins. So ang capillary is mura rin siya og pathway sa arteries o sa veins. Makita mo sa picture from the heart ang artery o naka-connect sila sa capillary and then veins to the heart. Og darapod sa arteries ang arteries gikan sa heart padung sa body, veins from the body parts to the heart. Structure of blood vessels. So aside from capillaries, blood vessels are all made of three layers. The adventitia or tunica externa or outer layer. Mo ni siya ang nag-provide and nag-support o tissues which regulates the internal diameter of the vessels. So mo ni siya ang kanang murag na ipagka-pink na violet, pagka-violet. The third one is the tunica intima or the innermost layer. So consists of an inner surface or soft endothelium covered by a surface of the elastic tissues. So mo siya ang color pink on your purpose. So the aorta and its part. The aorta is divided into three parts. The ascending aorta, the arc of the aorta, and the descending aorta. So the ascending aorta is near the heart and outside the pericardial sac. So mo ni siya. Basta na makita na sa illustration o sa picture. The arc of the aorta is curved from the heart to the left and also extended backward. So from the word arc, above the na siya. And then the descending aorta is the largest section of the aorta spanning to abdominal cavity. So mo ni siya ang descending kanang gikan sa descending padong sa abdominal aorta. So ang abdominal aorta together makes up the descending aorta. So connected lang na silang duha, pareho na sila nga taas.
So, hello guys. So, today, I'm gonna discuss to you, and I am the next reporter of the previous one, who will discuss to you about the aorta. So, aorta, we have, is the largest artery, artery in our body that carries blood to the circulatory system. So, we have 5 parts of aorta. We have ascending aorta, arc of aorta, and the descending aorta, the thoracic aorta, and abdominal aorta. So first, I will discuss to you the branches of ascending aorta. So here, as you can see, this is the ascending aorta. There are 2 branches of ascending aorta. First, we have right coronary artery and left coronary artery. This artery that is all these branches supply blood to the heart muscle. And the next part we will tackle about aorta is the arc of aorta. So, there are 3 branches of arc of aorta or branches of the aortic arc. So, the aorta located in the immediately beyond the ascending gives off 3 branches. We have brachycephalic trunk, the left common carotid artery, and the subclavian artery. The left subclavian artery. So first, the brachiocephalic trunk is the shortest artery formerly called the inumate. Its name means that it supplies the head and the arm. After extending upward, somewhat less than 5 centimeter or 2 inches, it divides into right subclavian artery, which supplies the right of the head and the neck. Number 2 is the left common carotid artery. So the left common carotid artery is located between the brachiocephalic trunk and the left subclavian. So this is the left common carotid artery. So it extends upward from the highest part of the aortic arc. It supplies the left side of the neck, or muna siya nag-supply of blood sa ato left side of the neck and the head. So, muna siya nag-supply sa blood. Next, and the last part is the left subclavian artery. So, the left subclavian artery located on the, before left common carotid artery. So, this one. So, extended under the left collarbone or the calvic, calvasal pana, and supply the left upper extremity. This is the last branch of the aortic arch. So, this is the last branch. Muna siya ang pinakalas nga branch sa aortic arch. So, nahuman naman nato ang tulo. Next is the branches of thoracic aorta. So, the branches of sa ato kitaon, ma-locate nato si thoracic aorta is here. After siya ni descending aorta. Ano siya? Kaninga part is the thoracic aorta. So, the branches of thoracic aorta is the third part of aorta supplies the branches to the chest wall, to the esophagus, and to the bronchi and their tree-like subdivision in the lungs. So, there are usually 9 to 10 pairs of intercostal arteries that extend between the ribs, sending branches to the muscle and other structure of the chest wall. So, mo ko na third mo ko na siya ay kuan sa amo na siya ay branches sa thoracic aorta. So, mo siya ay branches sa. So, next we have the branches of the abdominal aorta. As in the case of the thoracic aorta, there are unpaired branches extended forward and paired arteries extending toward the side. The unpaired vessel are large artery that supplies the abdominal viscera. The most important of these viscera branches are listed down below. So, the so ang kaning branches pod sa branches of abdominal aorta ni kay ang iyahang nakalakuanan sa thoracic aorta mga na sila unpaired branches extend siya forward and napod siya paired nga arteries extended toward. So, as we can see, there are three: the celiac trunk and the superior mesenteric artery and the much smaller inferior mesenteric artery. So, let us locate the celiac trunk. So, celiac trunk is here. This is our celiac trunk. Is a short artery about 1.25 centimeter long that subdivide into three branches. The left gastric artery goes to the stomach. The splenic artery goes to the spleen. And the hepatic artery carries oxygenated blood to the liver. Next is the superior mesenteric artery. So, the superior mesenteric artery, we can locate this one below the celiac trunk. So, this is our superior mesenteric artery. The largest of this branch carries blood to most of the small intestine, as well as the first half of the large intestine. Third, third, third is the much smaller inferior mesenteric artery. So the inferior mesenteric artery located down o kaning below below sa below near to the end of the abdominal aorta. So located below the superior mesenteric and near to the end of the abdominal aorta supplies the second one half of the largest intestine. Intestine. Next, we have the lateral or the paired abdominal branches of the abdominal aorta. Include the following right and the left diversion. First, we have the phrenic artery supplies the diaphragm. So this artery supplies blood to the diaphragm. Next is the suprarenal artery supplies the adrenal glands or adrenal glands. Next is the renal arteries. The largest on this group carry blood to the kidneys. So the renal arteries is the one who carry blood to the kidneys. And next is ovarian arteries in the female and the testicular arteries in the male, formerly called the spermatic arteries, supply blood to the sex glands. And the last is four pair of lumbar arteries extended into the muscular of the abdomen wall. So this last part is the one. So the four lumbar is extended into the musculature of the abdominal walls. So next is we have the iliac arteries under subdivision. So the abdominal aorta finally divides into two common iliac arteries. Both of these vessels about 5 centimeter long, extended into the pelvis. So the abdominal aorta divides into two common iliac arteries and these vessels is about 5 centimeter long, extended to the pelvis. So here is our pelvis. Kutob siya diri dapita sa ato pelvis, which each one subdivides into an internal and external iliac artery. The internal iliac vessel then send branches to the pelvic organ, including the urinary bladder, the rectum, and some of the reproductive organs. The external iliac arteries continue into tights as the femoral arteries. This vessel gives off branches in the tights and then become the popliteal arteries, which subdivides below knee below daw kuno sa ato tuhod. The subdivision include the tibial arteries and dorsalis pedis, which supplies the leg and the foot. Next, we have other subdivision of systematic arteries. So just as the largest branch of the tree gives off limbs of varying size, so the arterial tree has a multitude of subdivision. Hundred of names might be included, but we shall mention only a few. For example, each common carotid artery. So gitudlo ko naman to ganina ang asa to dapita si carotid artery gives off branches to the thyroid glands and the other structure in the neck before dividing into the external and internal carotid artery, which supplies parts of head. The hand receives blood from the subclavian artery, which become the axillary and axilla or the armpit. The longest part of this vessel, the branchial, branchial artery is in the arm proper. It subdivides into two branches near the elbow. The radial artery, which continues down the thumbs side of the forearm, and rest, 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 and the ulnar artery, which extended along the medial or little finger side into hand. Next, we have anastomosis, ana, anastomosis. A communication between two arteries is called anastomosis. By means, blood reaches vital organs by more than one route. So, mura siya mag connection ba na siya kanang na siya union sa ilang end sa artery. This will be described in three or four parts. First, we have the circle of Willis receive blood from two internal carotid arteries as well as from the basilar artery, which is formed from the union of two verbal arteries. This arterial circle lies just under the center of the brain and send branches to the cerebrum and other parts of the brain. Next is the volar arc, is formed by union of radial and ulnar arteries in the hand. It sends branches to the hand and fingers. Third is menstrual arcs. Arcs are made of communication between branches of the vessel that supplies blood to intestinal. Fourth and last is the arterial arches are formed by the union of branches of the tibial arteries in the foot, and the similar anastomosis are found in the various parts of the body. Next, we have names of systemic veins. So, we got two systemic veins names. The first, so uh, we have super, superficial veins, whereas the artery are most located, protected, and are deep areas of the body. Many veins are found near the surface. So, makaning veins, maklaro ra ni nato, kani mo ni siya maklaro nato nga mga ugat-ugat. So, first we have the vein on the back of the hand and at the front of the elbow. Those at the elbow are often used for removing blood samples. So, kaning mga naklaro nato nga ugat, muna siya gamito nato nga magkuha tag blood sample, kanang magpakuha tag dugo. Next is the spontaneous veins of the lower extremities, which are the longest veins in our body. That great spontaneous vein begins in the foot and extended to up to the medial side of the leg, the knee, the thighs. It finally empties the femoral veins near the groin. Next is the deep vein. The deep vein is the tibial tend to parallel the arteries and usually have the same name as the corresponding artery. Example, the including femoral and iliac vessel of the lower part of the body and the branchial axillary, the subclavian vessel of the upper extremities. However, the exemption are found in the veins of the head and the neck. The jugular veins drains the area supplied by the carotid arteries. Two brachycephalic veins are formed on each side, but by the union of the subclavian and the jugular veins. Next, the superior vena cava. The veins of the head neck, upper extremities, and chest all drain into the superior vena cava, which goes to the heart. It is formed by the union of the right and left brachycephalic veins, which drains the head, neck, and upper extremities. The azygos vein drains the vein of the chest wall and empties into the superior vena cava just before the later empties on the heart. So makita ni nato diri sa ato ang example, we have the internal and external jugular na kung tapos ang left right nga brachycephalic, makita nato sila dire. Next, we have the inferior vena cava. The inferior vena cava, which is most longer than the superior vena cava, returns the blood from the parts of the body below the diagram. It begins at the lower abdomen with the union of the two common iliac veins. It then ascends along the back wall of the abdomen through a groove in the posterior part of the liver, through the diaphragm to the from lagi. And finally, through the lower thorax to empty into the right atrium of the heart. Next, we have circulatory routes or circuits. So we have two circulatory routes or circuits in the one. So we have pulmonary circulatory and systemic circulation. Pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. So pulmonary circulation carry blood to and from the lungs. They include the pulmonary artery and its branches to the capillaries in the lungs, as well as the veins that drains those capillaries. The pulmonary arteries carry blood low in oxygen from the right ventricle, while the pulmonary veins carry blood high in oxygen from the lungs into the left atrium. This circuit functions to eliminate carbon dioxide from the blood and replenish its supplies of the oxygen. Next, we have systemic circulation. It is the largest circulatory route. It takes oxygenated blood from the left ventricle through the aorta to all parts of the body, including some lung tissues, and return the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium through the systemic veins. The superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava and the coronary sinews. It has several subdivisions. Two of the several subdivisions are the coronary circulation and the hepatic portal system or circulation. And that's will all my report about the one. That's all, and thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Prince Montelto. My topic is circulatory routes or circuits. Circulation sa tundugo o agianan. All the vessels together may be subdivided into two groups or circuits, the pulmonary and systemic circulation. What is pulmonary circulation? Carry blood to and from the lungs. Nagdala og dugo ngadto o gikan sa atong lungs They include the pulmonary artery and its branches to the capillaries in the lungs, as well as the veins that drain those capillaries. The pulmonary arteries carry blood low in oxygen from the right ventricle. Ang atuad ako ng right pulmonary artery nagdala og dugo low in oxygen gikan sa atohang right ventricle, while ang atohang pulmonary veins carry blood high in oxygen from the lungs into the left atrium. While ang atuad ako nung left pulmonary veins nagdala og dugo high in oxygen gikan sa atohang lungs padulong sa atohang left atrium. This circuit functions to eliminate carbon dioxide from the blood and replenish its supply of oxygen. Kini nga serkito naglihok ni siya sa pag-remove sa carbon dioxide gikan sa atoang mga dugo o gipuno ni siya o supply sa oxygen. What is systemic circulation? Systemic circulation, it is the largest circulatory route. It takes oxygenated blood from the left ventricle through the aorta to all parts of the body. Ang systemic circulation daw kay mo ni siya ang kinadak-an nga sirkulasyon o ruta sa atoang mga dugo. Ug kuha ni siya og oxygenated blood from the left ventricle through the aorta to all parts. Kuha ni siya og oxygenated blood from left atrium. So ari sa tong left atrium nagkuha siya og nagkuha siya og oxygenated blood og padulong sa atohang left ventricle. Padong sa atohang kalawasan, including some lung tissue, not air sac or alveolus, and returns the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. Nag-include sad ni siya sa atong lung tissue o it returns the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. So nagdala ni siya sa ato ang deoxygenated blood ngadto sa atong right atrium. It returns to our right atrium through the systemic veins, the superior vena cava, the inferior vena cava, and the coronary sinus. It has several subdivisions. Two of the several subdivisions are the coronary circulation and the hepatic portal system or circulation. The next, hepatic portal system. Almost all almost always when blood leaves a capillary bed, it returns directly to the heart in a portal system. However, blood circulates through a second capillary bed, usually in a second organ, before returning to the heart. Those portal system is a kind of detour in the pathway of venous return that can transport materials directly from one organ to one another to another. The portal system between the hypothalamus and the anterior pituitary has already been described. The largest portal system in the body is the hepatic portal system. Ang pinakadako nga portal system sa atohang lawas mao ang hepatic portal system. Nga nagdala sa atohang dugo gikan sa mga organo sa tiyan ngadto sa ato ang atay. Ang hepatic portal system naglakip sa mga ugat nga nag-agas sa dugo gikan sa mga capillary sa spleen, tiyan, pancreas ug tinai. Imbis nga habaon ang ilang dugo direkta ngadto sa ubos nga vena cava, ila kining ihatod pinaagi sa hepatic portal vein ngadto sa atoang atay. Then sa pagsulod sa atoang atay, ang portal vein nagbahin o gibahin ngadto sa mas gagmay nga mga sanga sa ngadto. Ang portal nga dugo moagos ngadto sa usa ka halapad nga network sa samag sinus nga mga sudlanan nga gitawag og sinusoid. Kini ang gipadak-an nga mga capillary nga nagsilbing mga agianan sa atoang mga dugo sulod sa mga tisyo sa atay, spleen, thyroid gland ug uban pang mga istruktura. The purpose of the portal system of veins is to deliver sinusoids so the liver cells can carry out their functions. For example, when food is digested, most of the end products are absorbed from the small intestine into the bloodstream and transported to the liver by the portal system. So, example daw ko no, ang ato ang gikaon, when food is ma-digest na atong food nga gikaon, ang end sa yang ato ang ma-digest padulong gid sa ato ang small intestine into the bloodstream and transported to the liver ug ma-transported siya ngadto sa atohang atay through the portal system. In the liver, these nutrients are processed, stored, and released as needed into the general circulation. Next, pulse and blood pressure. Pulse. What is pulse? The ventricles pump blood into the arteries regularly about 70 to 80 times a minute. Ato na ko ng ventricles nagpump sa atuhang dugo ngadto sa atuhang arteries regularly about 70 to 80 times a minute. The force of the ventricular contraction starts a wave of increased pressure that begins at the heart and travels along the arteries. This wave, called the pulse, can be felt an artery that is relatively close to the surface, particularly if the vessel can be pressed down against a bone. At the rest, the radial artery passes over the bone of the thumb side of the forearm, and the pulse is almost commonly obtained here. Other vessels sometimes used for obtaining the pulse are the carotid artery in the neck and the dorsal pedis on the top. Ang atuada ko nung vessel, sometimes magamit ni siya para sa pag-obtain sa ato ang pulse sa mga carotid artery sa atohang neck and the dorsal pedis on the top sa atohang foot. Normally, the pulse rate is the same as the heart rate, only if a heartbeat is abnormally weak or if the artery is obstructed may the beat not be detected as a pull. In checking the pulse of another person, it is important to use your second or third finger. So sa pag-checking sa ato ang pulse, labi na sa laing person, it is importante siya kaayo sa paggamit sa atohang second or third finger. If you use your thumb, you may find that you are getting your own pulse. When taking a pulse, it is important to gauge the strength as well as the regularity and the rate. The various factors may influence the pulse rate. We will enumerate just a few. First, the pulse is somewhat faster in small persons than in large persons, usually slightly faster in a woman than in men. Ikaduha, in a newborn infant, the rate may be from 120 to 140 beats a minute. Ikatulo, muscular activity influences the pulse rate. During sleep, the pulse may slow down to 60 a minute, while during strenuous exercise, the rate may go up to well over 100 a minute. In a person in good condition, the pulse does not remain rapid despite continued exercise. Ikaapat, emotional disturbances may increase the pulse rate. Ikalima, in many infections, the pulse rate increase with the increase in temperature. Kaunom, an excessive amount of secretion from the thyroid gland may cause a rapid pulse. The pulse rate may serve as a partial guide for persons who must take thyroid extract. Una da ko no ang ato ang pulso or pulse na kani siya na paspas ni sa atoha small person than in large persons, usually slightly faster in woman. Sa babay, slightly faster ngadto sa babay than sa mga lalaki. Ikaduha, sa newborn or infant, the rate sa atohang beats per minute is 120 to 140. Then ikatulo, nga to dako nahang influences sa atohang pulse rate during nga natugta kay slow all over 100 a minute in good condition. Ang atoang pulse wala nag-remain rapid sa atohang kuan sa atohang nakadepende sa atong pag-exercise kung ato ning gipadayon. Ikapat, ang emotional disturbance maka-increase po ni siya og pulse rate. O ikalima, in many infections, sa atohang mga infections, ang ato asang pulso mo increases with the og sa atohang temperature mo increased. Kalima ay kaunom, ang atong excessive amount sa atong secretion thyroid gland nag cause rapid pulse. So paspas ni siya. Ang atong pulse nag-serve ni siya sa atong partial guide persons sa atong thyroid extract. Next, blood pressure. Since the pressure inside the blood vessels varies with the condition of the heart, the blood and the vessels, as well as with other factors, the measurement and careful interpretation of blood pressure may prove a valuable guide in the care and evaluation of a person's health. Because blood pressure decreases as the blood flows from arteries into capillaries and finally into veins, measurements ordinarily are made of arterial pressure only. Tungod kay ang pressure sa sulod sa atong mga ugat lain-lain man, uban sa kahimtang sa kasing-kasing dugo o mga kaugatan, ingon sa uban pang mga hinungdan, ang pagsukod og mabinantayon nga pagkuan sa tuang presyon sa atong dugo mahimong usada kuno kagiya sa atohang pag-atiman og pagtimbang-timbang sa kahimsog sa atong kalawasan. Dapat kondisyon sa ang atohang lawas kay nagkuan siya sa pagkuan sa atohang kondisyon sa atohang dugo. Tungod ng atong dugo mo siya ang mo spread sa atohang kalawasan, maghatag og nutrients sa atohang kalawasan. The instrument used is called a sphygmomanometer, and two variables are measured: systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Systolic pressure, which occurs during heart muscle contraction, averages around 120 and is expressed in millimeters of mercury. Ang ato daw systolic pressure kay nagkuhan ako ni siya during sa atohang heart muscle contraction. Nag-average ni siya og 120 and is nag-express ni siya in millimeters of mercury. While ang atong diastolic pressure, which occurs during relaxation of the heart muscle, averages around 80 millimeter of mercury. Nagkuha ni siya during sa atohang relaxation sa atohang heart muscle. Nag-average ni siya og 80 millimeter of mercury. O maro to ang ako ang report. That's all. Thank you.